Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. I am more than excited to be up in the house with After 7 with all of their award-winning songs, with all that they continue to do. And we get to talk about the future and sort of what this summer and this year is looking like for this group. And it's simply amazing. I can't wait for you all to hear from them themselves. It is just a pleasure that I think rarely do we have a treat so wonderful. So without trying to beat around the bush, I want to jump right in. I'm going to start with Kevon, and we're going to work our way round robin. You got to tell us, let's just dial back a little bit to Indianapolis and growing up in the home with the family, the Edmonds family, and sort of how all this came to be, because you all just seem to reek and live music from your very fiber of every being you have. And I know Melvin said that too.
Yeah, it's really kind of crazy as I look back. I mean, there was always music of some sort playing in our household. My father had a great love for music, and so did my mother. When you say that, you remind me of some of the conversations that Melvin had shared previous, I think with one of your executive producers, Isaac, was that when we were younger, my father used to have a tape recorder, and he would just fool around with it. He'd let us fool around on it and just talk into it, or maybe even sing or something like that. And some of the stuff was Dumbo, Elephant, Dumbo. I mean, there were recordings of us doing stuff like that. So really early on, that kind of stuff was going on. So there was an affinity, whether we realized or not, that we were developing and didn't even know it, but about recording even. But it was always music. Some of it was jazz, some of it was blues. And back when there were 78s, I don't know if you know anything about that.
I wish I could say I was too new to know, but I do know.
So 78 wax and 33 LPs and so on and so forth that used to play. And of course, my mother was also a lover of music, and she'd sing in the church choir and stuff. But it had a lot to do with, I think, my older brothers, Melvin and Marvin, would bring music home because they were the big teenagers. They were the hip, cool guys. And they kind of knew what was going on in the music scene. And they would bring their little 45s on to home and would play them and so on. But it was really, Melvin was the one who brought the idea of live entertainment, live performance into our household. Prior to that, it was just music you heard on the stereo or on a phonograph or anything like that. But it was Melvin who really developed a penchant and a love for live performance. And I have no idea where it came from other than the fact it was something that was in him. And really kind of having the chance to witness or experience seeing what he was doing at the age of 15 and 16 years old, having his own self-contained band. Like, who does that? Where did that come from? My father didn't teach him, my mother didn't. Hey, this is what it was none of that. It was just something that was in him. So he really was the one who really opened the door for both Kenny and myself. And I'll say that I had other brothers also who were musicians, who played the bass. Just there was maybe something in the water, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Keith, who would you say are just some, and I'm sure there's a list, who are some of your inspirations? Who are some of your musical inspirations, Keith, as you were growing up and starting to get into the sound?
Well, I think it started because my mom was a missionary at a young age. So she spent, oodles of hours in the church and working with the church and communities around Indianapolis. So we automatically, 4 kids, my brother and 2 older sisters, were kind of dragged into being a part of that. And in and around that, of course, was the gospel and the choirs. And the 4 of us, formed a little singing group from church called Zion Tabernacle. The Stars of Zion, and that's where I got my first introduction into really singing and performing with the family. But outside of that, my mom, of course, was drawn to R&B music, gospel music. We listened to what's this guy? Cleveland.
James Cleveland.
Was it James Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
James Cleveland, yeah. So he was prominent in the household, but eventually that got me into in and near the young adult choir at Zion Tabernacle in Indianapolis. And, I think around the age of 13, I ended up in the Indianapolis Mass Choir, which was an adult choir, but I had put so much time in with the choirs that I was associated with the young adult choir at Zion Tabernacle. They pulled me into that. So that's where I got my early experiences and got associated with harmonies, and had a love and affinity for harmony for sure. And but the influences probably would go broader into James Brown, Temptations, OJs, Dramatics, Black Ivory was a trio group that just reeled me in. And so it was really the stand-up male vocal groups that stood out and what caught my eye. Never really thought of myself as having the opportunity to get where After 7 has taken us, because we, of course, didn't have any idea of how to get there. And out of Indianapolis, the only music outside of what was brought into the house was, we had WIFE radio in Indianapolis. There was no American R&B stations when we were kids. We were 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, it wasn't going down like that. But we would listen to the radio, drawn to the radio, but the influences weren't there for us. But after we got to be teenagers, the R&B kind of stepped into the ears, and we gravitated to it, and that's where I fell in love with music and walking to school, singing songs. And my friends would say, "Boy, you can't sing. What are you doing? You can't sing, man. Just shut up." And it's not like you running around trying to sing to make a statement. It's just something that was in you, and you just love melody and love making sounds, and it's crazy. It was a great experience to come from that to 32 years in this business. It's like I could have never have saw where this success in music would have taken.
Sure. And that's a great transition to Daniel. Could you have ever imagined in your wildest dreams, what were some of those dreams of either making it yourself or trying to join a group, and just sort of take us through that experience in your eyes? Because I know obviously you're the youngest person, but it's just, it almost seems like it could be a dream come true, but tell us how you think of it.
Yeah. You said it 100%. That's exactly what it is. And not even trying to force it. It's, music has just kind of been one of those things where it started off as a love, then it became therapy, then it became a career. And when it became a career, I was looking up to people like, Kevon, Keith, Melvin. I was looking up to people like, Mint Condition, Babyface, all these people that I grew up listening to, where I was always chasing the goosebumps. I wanted to feel that goosebumps. I was always trying to find the songs that would give me that. And I guess the inspiration then developed into, I want to be able to give people goosebumps too one day. And I remember telling Kevon this, where back in college, I went to Berklee College of Music, graduated 2004. And back then they would have a big showcase where it was called Singer Showcase. And I remember talking to some cats like, look, there's this song, we got to do it. I was always already into After 7. They were musical influences. So in my mind, I'm like, you know, I need somebody to sing this song with me, but who's going to do Kevon's part? Because I ain't trying to do it. And you already know Kevon hits the stratosphere. But you know, funny how fate works, because I was never able to find that duo partner or group that would want to emulate, you know, a song. And the song was taking my time, by the way. But what do you call it? I could never find the group of guys that would want to tackle that and, you know, stronghold the audience. You know what I'm saying? Right. And little did I know God was preparing me in such a way that, you know, years later, I'm a part of After 7. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it like in hindsight, when you look back, you know, it just kind of, yeah, this is one of those, what you call it, a miracle, a dream come true, you know, all of that, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I basically every day that there's not a day that goes by where I'm like, kind of like, okay, you know, don't get too excited. You know, is this for real? Like, you know what I mean? No, this is for real. So, you know, I'm just glad that these guys just open their arms out to me and you know, and they're coaching and they're, you know, teaching me things that they've been in the game for so long or whatever to help me to, I mean, you know, just kind of, you know, well, I mean, for me, it's more like to, what do you call that? As a soldier, you know what I'm saying? You kind of in line, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they can't be pulling dead weight kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? So I'm doing my part to make sure, you know, but not to say that I'm dead weight, you know, they've been that great to me, so.
Right, definitely. Your latest song is a tribute to Melvin. Let's just talk a bit about that. So many people now are losing family members, loved ones, and things like that. Just going through that, I think, what words, what inspiration would you give, as one can be for Kevon, regarding just losing somebody so close and trying to figure out how to best memorialize them, remember them, love them, and cherish who they are. What words would you have for people at this time who may be going through something similar to what you all went through not that long ago?
Well, I think I would share with you much in the same way. I think that I know my friend Keith would share, and that is that, you know, first we have a strong love for God, and just we know who is in control, and that's part of how you are able to kind of get through, is knowing that God is in control, and at the end of the day, He has the final say so. Whatever is going on, you know, He already knows how this all plays out. But it's about having faith and believing, and we all have to go this pathway. Nobody's going to stick around here for forever. And we just don't know when our time is going to be. But it's a matter of those people who have lost loved ones in this time. I know it's a very difficult space, and I know it several times over with siblings and with parents, that you have to know that they are in a better place. That is my belief. I believe that all those who I've lost are in a better place right now. And I believe that we're never really disconnected. I think that, I believe that they know what's going on here with us. Even though they're in a different space, in a different plane, they know what's going on here with us. And I believe that my brother, my mother and father, and my other brother Marvin, they're smiling right now on us. When I think about my brother Marvin, he used to tell me, "Boy, you need to sing country." I don't know what you know now. Who would ever think that we need to be singing country? But he was such a, my oldest brother was a country fan. He was a Garth Brooks and Toby Keith fan. I'm like, get out of here with this. But he may have had a point. I don't know. R&B is what we love, but there was always a love of music in my family, on different levels and so on and so forth. But we're fortunate to have the time that we have with the ones that we love, and we should never take that for granted. And hopefully that when it's their time, you know that you've done all that you can do. When God calls you home, there's not much else that you can do but just to try to be strong and continue to move forward. That's what we have to do, because there are others who are feeling the way that you're feeling, and someone has to be strong. We have to continue to move forward, and I think that's what we've done. That's what we wanted to do with this project, especially for Melvin, because he was such an integral part of this group, establishing who we were, excuse me, and creating a signature sound. And that Keith and I always knew we weren't really ready to move forward and record again without Melvin. So that's what brought about the Timeless record, because he agreed to let's do this again. And though he's not here with us physically right now, he is here with us in spirit. We found a way to continue to memorialize him in this project, this unfinished business. And I think we all feel proud about the fact that this, my brother, the Soul Dog, the one who held it down, just, never wishy-washy about anything. He let you know how he felt. He was straight with it, always. But he was genuine. He loved what he did. Singing was really his life. He loved it so much. That was, you could take everything else away. Let me go in here and sing. Y'all do what y'all gonna do, but I'm gonna go ahead and sing. And that was my brother Melvin all day long. And we miss him, but I know he's smiling on us. And for those people who've lost others, they're still with you. They still know that you're here, and they're doing God's work, and they're praying for you and pulling for you, and just hoping that you'll pull through this time without, I believe.
Keith, talk to us about this project, Bittersweet in particular. I mean, the music is incredible, the words are so meaningful, and the way that you all started that with an amazing tribute to Melvin. As I was sharing with you all before we got going, just reading the tributes, reading the comments. I mean, it was honestly a pleasure. So often you're a little bit afraid to read some comments that people may see or may say, especially on the internet these days. But talk to me about what this means to you, and sort of why you felt this was a really great song to lead off with.
Well, first of all, we were blessed to have that opportunity to meet the young writers. We haven't met JCash, but the writers, we met them on Zoom. So it was a very unique recording scenario for this song, because they were out on the West Coast and we were in Atlanta. But we were really blessed to be introduced to them through Stokely and a young man that one of Kevon's good friends, Al Manerson, hooked us up with these young people, and they sent us like 5 songs. We listened to the songs, but the Bittersweet, the message that they had written, that's what it really stood out to all 3 of us. I mean, we all listened to the 5 records individually and collectively, and we all kind of had a unanimous consent that that came to the table with a great presentation of expression of how they felt that After 7 could do this song. They were really, really excited to do the song with us. And so it was almost at a point where we weren't going to do the song, and Kevon was like, okay, I think we got enough songs. We got 10 songs. We probably should just shut it down. And a few weeks went by after he and I had that conversation. I came back to Kevon. I said, hey, man, I think the young people would feel it because of the beat. They would be surprised that was After 7 singing. And I think if you read all the comments, you didn't heard a little bit of everything about who they think it is, Usher. They
Right.
thought it was women. You know, it's crazy who the interpretation, and we kind of thought that would happen because the beat was so hip and new and fresh. But long story short, that song opened up a door to get us to a younger listener. And in music, just like in the gospel, in the church, new blood, new ears. That's what it's about. That's what gives you longevity, is that you can go down and get new fans that may be younger, and you teach them and guide them. They come into the fold, they get exposed to the gospel. They were After Seven fans who had been After Seven fans for 30 years. So, you know, we were excited about the record when the record company chose it. It wasn't our choice for it to be the first single. You know, the label came and said, I think it should be Sweet. We was like, well, we was thinking about, no, it's Bittersweet. So, you know, we just folded, and the rest is history.
Well, it's
amazing.
Great transition for Daniel, because you're classically trained. You know, I know you just slipped that little Berkeley in there, but I'm very familiar with that on the East Coast. So we got to represent, because you kind of represent the epitome of this, where you had followed, like you said, the group and had been singing this type of music. But tell me sort of what it meant to you in terms of just being able to bring some of that new type of sound sort of into a very, very well-polished group.
Let me just say the pressure was on. Because, you know, there's one thing being a working musician and just kind of being a studio geek, you know, in the background or whatever, I've learned that there's a difference between a singer and a recording artist. And for years, that was just kind of an enigma that I was trying to tinker with, until I was in the studio with legendary, you know, producers, and, you know, like Daryl Simmons, or, you know, legendary singers like Philip Bailey, you know. So, you know, to watch them do what they do, it was like, oh, I get it now. And it took some time for me to really understand people like, you know, After Seven and how they approach a song. But my interpretation of that is what I brought to the table, you know, sweating bullets. But, you know, after that first song that we did in the studio, I got the thumbs up, and that meant a lot. So I was just like, okay, cool. So all that I've learned over the years is time to apply it. Because I thought that I needed to be like, you know, ooh, yeah, ooh, all this stuff or whatever. But it takes away from the story. It takes away from the expression of where you're trying to go. And, you know, these guys are already masters of that. So I was just following their lead. And, you know, I would like to say that I'm a fast learner, especially when it's something that I love to do. So, you know, I was soaking in every bit of information I could while we were in studio, from Keith, from Kevon, and I applied it as fast as I could. You know.
Well, I want to hit on one of those terms, because when everybody found out we were doing this, I mean, I started getting my own comments, and the romance, being able to still couch it in the church, but you guys look great. You guys are in shape. The choreography. I'll sort of back it to Keith. Talk to us just a little bit about that, because the polish, you mentioned groups like the Temptations. I didn't lose that reference either. You all, not only just in terms of bringing it back, but just continuing to try to elevate style, performance. Daniel said the same thing too, you know, excellence, and really trying to bring it and represent. Talk to me just about that. You said it too, 30 years in the business, and really trying to hold on to what many of us call quality.
Well, I think it goes back to the basic premise that what we do is entertain. And when you're an entertainer, it's your job to captivate a viewer through what they see visually, what they hear with the audio. It's the presentation, it's the present. And what has gotten lost over the more recent years with the hip hop form of music and the rap music is the presentation and the hard work that goes into entertainment. So it's one thing to be an individual, come out on stage, stand, walk from left to right and sing. But if you don't have Whitney Houston type music, you know, it's hard to captivate an audience to keep them locked on you. And every artist doesn't have that level of talent like her. But for After 7, we were influenced by stand-up male vocal groups in a big way. And so that's all we knew. And so once we branded ourselves in the business, and the name of After 7 had a lot to do kind of with how the clothes, the fashion, classiness of our approach matched the music. And so we just worked hard at putting the choreography with the music. And in our choreography, we try to bring forth the message in the music through the choreography. So not just do a move, but we trying to take essence from the meaning of the words and use visual representation of choreography to express that through the music, through the vocals, through the lyrics to the listener. And that is entertainment. It's just like when you go to Broadway, you're captivated at Broadway by the sensationalism of the actors, all the bright lights, the bright colors, voices that ring out. You know, the music is there. Sometimes it's music, sometimes it's not. But you're captivated by all this movement that you see. And so it's important that is a staple of what we brought to the table. But as we grow and we evolve, we're trying to still bring you some of that old, but yet we're trying also to not do all of it. We're not trying to stay in that segment of time. We're trying to bring it forward where we've, you know, if you come to our shows now, we used to use microphone stands a lot. Now we're getting away from the microphone stands and having more freedom, still flowing, still expressing, but using some of the more young approaches, but putting our touch and our spin on it. But it's absolutely important, and we love doing it. I mean, it's tough work because
and you said it work. Exactly.
Yeah, it's work. It is work.
No shame. Kevon, this is for you, and I'm just gonna be blunt. I'd be remiss to the sisters if I didn't ask, how does he stay so young? How do you stay hip? How do you keep in step? They want the secret. You don't have to give me all of them, but just give them just a few trinkets, because they were like, I do not believe this what I am seeing. How to do it. So
wow.
Maybe just give them a sprinkle.
Sprinkle. Golly. I think it has a lot to do with being grateful for what you have, being able to be happy. I'm a happy person right now. You know, I've got a beautiful wife, a beautiful daughter, all of these things that really that make me a better person. I have a wonderful home life, and that home life, that personal life, and my relationship with God, all of those things are things that just bless me tremendously. And I could tell you years back when I wasn't doing some of the things that I really love to do, I will tell you that I probably looked older when I was younger. But as I've gotten older and found more, the one thing that is so difficult to hold on to is peace. When you can find peace in the midst of all the crazy that goes on, you know what I'm saying? It's transforming. It's transforming, and I'm no Benjamin Button, but I'm happy. You know, I can definitely, I definitely have learned to eat better, exercise a little more than I had been recently, but understanding that you need to take time for yourself, to not be afraid to push the stop button, the pause, and have inner reflection, a meditative moment for yourself. You're entitled to that. Everyone should give themselves that moment each day if you can. And these are, I can tell you, I know these two other guys know how stressful it gets out here, and we rip and we run, but you know, we as Danny referenced, we're soldiers. We feel like we are soldiers, and we are here, and we're not going to stop until the job is done. We're called on to do something. You can trust and believe that we are a reliable source when it comes to doing what it is we do as far as entertainment is concerned. It's important to us. So I feel very fulfilled. I feel very, very grateful for what I have. I'm not worried about what I don't. I'm just grateful for what I do have, and that God has blessed us tremendously, that we're sitting here having a conversation with you about an album that we had the opportunity to record during a very tumultuous and chaotic time in all of our lives in this world, and that we had the ability to go into a studio and record, I believe, what is some of the best music in our life. And I really do love this project, Unfinished Business. Ladies, I could lose some weight, the face a little fat. I'm working on it. It can get better. I'm working on it. That's all I'll tell you.
Daniel, and I know you're newer to it, but health is so important and so integral in this group. Talk to me about one of the projects that's near and dear to your heart, and certainly we'll get to the others as well. But I'd just love to hear, because it's so rare that it's so intertwined within a group beyond just, as Kevin was talking about, Kevon, in his life. Talk to me about one of those.
I'm sorry, one more time.
Sure, the health project. Like, what's one of the ones that you find near and dear to your heart? Because I know the group has been involved in a couple of big health projects. Is there one that you've begun to be involved in or heard about, or that you really are impressed or interested in?
Health project. I can't recall a health project that I've been a part of, but it was one of my actual dreams, and it was through the group that I was able to fulfill this, and I will fulfill it more in my life. But we were able to go to a women's shelter as of recently, where I would say that involves mental health in some sense. But these women were, women that just needed a little cheering up during Mother's Day. And we went there, we gave them some roses, we, sang to them or whatever. And, I believe that food was provided to them by a restaurant, like they were really taken care of over there. It opened my eyes in some sense or whatever, where I know that acts of service is needed out here, more than just doing this music thing. You know what I mean? Doing the music thing is a gateway. It opens the door to be able to do things like this. But once you have it, it's like, how do you use that power? And I think that's something that I want to dive into more. The act of service to I guess be there for people in a healthy way.
Absolutely. No, I think that's exactly one of the things I wanted to talk about, because that's not something you see as often. And as you all were all saying, we were sort of coming through COVID. You guys had a big project you're working on as well. It is more than a blessing to others to reach out in a relatively anonymous, quiet, big fanfare way to some of those that are in greater need. And I was just so inspired. I wanted to make sure we brought that out. Keith, because you've been with the group, like I said, over 3 decades now, in terms of how health became so important, what are some of the beginnings of that, and why it's sort of part of literally the message that you all bring?
I see health.
This is for Keith.
Health is absolute something that all individuals, I think that when we were kids and we would take gym class, they never told us that exercise is something that you never walk away from. You take gym class and you be running to get your clothes back on and running away, just to go out and play. But what I've learned is that the fountain of youth is in exercise. And personally, because I work so much, I have so much activity, I burn a high amount of calories from week to week. And I don't overeat. I do eat pretty much what I want, but there are some things that I've taken out of my diet to maintain good health. I've been a voice even though my mother has passed and my older sister has passed, I would often be in their ears telling them, it's okay to be a prayer warrior. It's okay to learn scripture, but it's also important to take care of this vessel, because without the vessel, that spirit, the God in you, has no place to dwell. And so I think people, over time, our lives get so taken up by all of the activities, and we don't put enough emphasis on taking care of ourselves. Parents, are forced to work so much to do the things to take care of their kids, and your mind is captured into doing all these other things. But it is gravely important to keep exercise in your life, because your heart is a muscle, it's tissue, so you have to do vigorating things. Your respiratory system needs to work. When you just come home from work and you sit down and I'm tired, no, it has to become a lifestyle. Taking care of the body, taking care of God's temple, giving your spirit the opportunity to be there to do the mission that God has for your life. And I think that what you see with me and Kevon is a pure thing, that it's part of our lifestyles, how we eat, how we exercise, how we stay active mentally and physically, is some of how we're able to do what we do. And I just hope that we can continue to be a part and be an accolade, be a bullhorn for people in our age group, for sure, to put yourself first, put your health first. And as you get older, you got more time, so you can't wait till you get old to do it, but you got to find a way to put exercise, taking care of yourself, eating properly, somewhere at the top of your list. And that's kind of what we've done since we started in the business. I mean, we ran, we exercised, we took care of ourselves. So we're advocates for it. And if there's anything that we can do continuously as we move forward and be people that can speak on it, we're here to donate our time and efforts to get other people to do what we do.
Sure. I love that. Kevon, the show is called Music and Medicine. Some may even say music is medicine or music as medicine. What does it mean to you in terms of your life and the group and music and your career? Because they seem so intertwined with the way that you take care of yourself and carry yourself and all that you give.
Wow. Yeah, it is. Music and medicine. Music is medicine. It's all combined. I do believe. I think that wow, it was the one thing. It was the one thing that I knew through music. What my purpose was. This gift that I have to sing. I didn't purchase it, didn't go buy, it was here. It was in me from the very beginning. I just didn't really tap into it and understand that a course was already set for me. There was a pathway that was set for me. I just had to open my eyes and understand what I was purposed and called to do. And music was the vehicle. And I didn't really realize just how important that was. It took time. I mean, I was like Keith. Now, I didn't know Keith when we were younger. When he was doing what he was doing, I can tell you, I'm gonna take you back. You see Libby, Libby, Libby on the label. You will like it on the table. These are the songs that we used to sing. They were just commercials. I just loved the melody, and people thought what's wrong with this dude? What's wrong?
He's got a problem. He might need some medicine.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it didn't matter to me because there was a love there. Music was important. Music was important to me when I was in middle school, and I can recall songs that I used to sing, and that a music teacher thought that, well, there's something about you, and I didn't know exactly what that was, but they had pointed out, but time went by and I just really didn't tap into just how important music would be in my life and how much therapy it has been, because there are times, and I'm sure each one of these individuals will let you know that even in the midst of what may be perceived as great success here, there are tremendous challenges in this industry, and it is the music. It is the music that becomes the therapy that helps you work your way through some of the more difficult times that you have to deal with in this business. It's no plaything, and although it looks like it's fun and lights and song and the ladies and all the little trappings really kind of become distractions. They become distractions on the way to what it is you're called to do. And music is that thing that would pull me through sometimes when it felt like things were closing in, felt like you had enough of this business, if you will. And I do know that my brother felt that many times. And there were times that I felt that too, and it was the love of music kind of brought it back into focus. I thought there were times, quite honest, I probably said, yeah, he was whining. I thought there were times that I was through with this, trust me, but music was not through with me. And I didn't realize that, just how important music has been in terms of being part of the fabric of my life. It has been a tremendous vehicle for me, a wonderful healing part of my life that I don't think there's anything else that would ever do for me what music has done for me. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful because I know the importance and the value of how music can impact and affect others in a positive way. I'm grateful that the songs that we sing have positive messages. I'm grateful that these songs move people in a positive way, that it impacts people's lives in a way that oftentimes we're approached by people who have falling in love with our music, not just because they just love the music, but because it there was an arrow that hit them, and it struck them in such a way that helped them carry on, helped them pull through, helped keep a family together. And we don't know all the ways that many people can experience this music, but I'm just glad that the kind of music that we sing about, what we sing about is love and romance and relationships and different little parts of life. But we're always coming from in as much as we can, a positive perspective. Love, we believe, rules the day. And if you can tap into that through music, I always feel like you're gonna find your way through to wherever it is you're getting to. And oftentimes people wake up with our music, go to sleep with our music, clean the house with our music. I mean, there's so many, and that can be a Saturday morning therapy thing just to get you through. Because we have no clue about what anyone is going through. And this can be medicine oftentimes for people. And I do know a personal story where I know there was a lady who was in the hospital who really just had to have her after 7 music every day to lift her spirits and get her through. I need my after 7. And when you hear stories like that, it touches you, but you also know, guess what? You must be doing the right thing.
Yeah, no, that's something amazing. Yeah, well, you've heard it here. I mean, this is a group that not only lives what they sing about, but really believes in their heart that their music does serve as medicine, and we've certainly seen it. That story is amazing to hear, that someone wanted to make sure that was the type of music they heard, and I love that it is clean, that it's something that can cover the generations, and that something you can be okay if your kid's listening to this. I think it's so important, and yet you all have the insight, the wisdom, and the willingness to sort of continue to make it current and add some of those elements. So I can't wait to see you all when you all are out this way. I'm going to let the last words be with Daniel. Tell us about some of the cities that you'll be going to and some of the things that you're up to and where we can find you.
The cities that we're going to. First, we're going to Nashville on Friday. Friday, we have a nice show over there. And then Chicago is on the 22nd. And then Philadelphia is on the 31st at the Dell Theater. No, it is it is on the 5th. Oh my God. Yeah. The 31st is our rehearsal. But nonetheless, we got some more dates coming up, solidified in some ways, and don't want to drop the ball right now. But what y'all can do to keep up is you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, even the website. And the handle is After 7 Music. That's at After 7 Music. You can't miss it. So you can go there. You can order the album. Now you can get your CD copy as well from Instagram. You go to Instagram, the bio, you click the link, and it'll take you everywhere you need to go to get that album, to stream that album. I can't wait for y'all to hear it. Yeah.
I love it. This has been so wonderful. Saying thank you. The words are not even close to expressing our level of gratitude, not only for everything you all shared today, but just that walk with the Lord. I mean, we touched on it, and we might as well, end on that type of note, literally. It is clear not only in your presentation, but that you're not afraid or ashamed to say that we really are trying to do what we feel we've been called to do, and to help and heal people through music, and to also set an example. And that's okay. We don't mind being role models, and we're trying our best. We're not perfect, and we're all trying to learn, and we're all trying to grow in Him. But I thank each and every one of you. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Kevon. your manager for setting this up, Chris Bridges. And we look forward to seeing you. We'll definitely catch you on this side for sure. If we don't catch you in ATL, where we love to be anyway. And thanks so much. Anything that anybody wants to say before we say adieu?
Oh,
thank you.
No, we want to say thank you for having us. I think this mission that you have as Music and Medicine is a wonderful mission to continue to have outreach. There are many people who are in need, and you're addressing some of those matters, and we spoke about that earlier. You have to have a strong spirit like you do, and a wonderful way with the way that you communicate. So thank you for having us. We do appreciate having the opportunity to speak with you today.
Thanks so much.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Thanks again. I really appreciate everybody's time. I'm Dr. Moshe Lewis. Thanks you again to After 7 for giving us time, sharing, and taking time out of their day to sort of make all of our lives and our days just that much more wonderful simply by being in your presence. Thanks. Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis.